So this is our first episode of the 5 tips from a master. Hence the 5 tips masterclass is something that I've been thinking about for a very long time. People that know me, we've been in the business of building brands and helping people achieve great success. But you can't do that without right people in your corner. And so my corner, thank God, has got a ton of really smart, passionate entrepreneurs, creators, inventors, innovators. And this show is all about bringing them to you and having a discussion on what makes them do the things that they do, learn from their successes, learn from some of their past, adventures.
Sure.
There's no such thing as failure. I've lost that word from my
vocab.
And so, thank you for coming to the first inaugural show, my man.
Thanks, Sats.B. Thanks for having me.
5 tips from the masterclass. For those of you that don't know, and I'm not sure why you would not know, my man Dinesh here is not only a really good friend of mine, but he's been in the film and media business for what, over 20?
We just do film and television, sure.
Yeah, film and television.
Yeah.
I got to know him through his passion project, Filmy.
That's right.
Filmy, one of Toronto's premier South Asian movie and entertainment.
That's right.
Did I say it right?
That's all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Film festival.
Yes.
And I've seen that thing grow to a huge success.
Yes. Thank you.
And so today's 5 tips that I'm looking for from you is there's a ton of people that want to make content.
Yes.
YouTube is enabling the everyday person to become content stars.
That's right.
But just because you have a camera and just because you've got a great personality doesn't mean you can make great content.
That's right.
So what I would love for you and for us to talk about today is 5 tips that you could share with our audience on if you want to get into the business of making movies, films, just content.
Right.
What are some of the things that you should listen to?
So the game has changed, right?
Okay.
Sats.B. What has happened in the past was you'd go to school, you'd get a crew together, and you would go and learn the procedures of the technical aspect of making film or television. But the game's changed completely. In the last 2 years, television isn't television. Film is not film. And content is being done live at all times, right?
We're constantly Facebooking and Instagramming.
Right. And so my tip number 1.
Tip number 1, man. I'm writing it down as you school me on it.
Is go, and you can determine this, whoever you are, go watch the best stuff. Simple thing, okay? Because it's ever changing, okay? And my 5 tips aren't like the old 5 tips. There are 5 tips that have been around for the longest time. That, read the books, go to the schools, be mentored, that sort of thing. Okay, I'm trying to give you something a little different from what's 2017 and future, what I noticed now. Okay, so go watch the best movies. Now, I'm not saying what's coming out of Hollywood at the screen.
Right.
Go find out and find multiple sources of what you think the best movies are, what you think the best TV shows are.
So what sources would you recommend? Because everybody hangs on either Netflix or you've got the cable, which people don't really watch anymore.
No.
Where do you find like these really cool gems? Like I follow a lot of cool brands like Vice and Complex and Hot Beast. But
these are great things.
What do you look for?
So I think you need to aggregate all of them. You need to take your IMDb's, your Rotten Tomatoes, your Netflix, your Vice, right? And then you need to go out and look at, okay, what was popular at some of the festivals?
Right.
Right? What is the groundswell kind of liking? Right?
Festivals. I never thought of that. Yeah. Like what's TIFF showing? Right?
Sure. What's Sundance
what's
showing?
What's
Filmy showing?
Yeah.
And then you can start seeing, okay, this is sort of what the pulse of content is right now.
Right.
So, and that's what I'd recommend someone who wants to get into it. Yeah. Go and I'm not going to define, or you're not going to define what the best is.
Right.
Okay? But you go find out what means the best to you.
Yeah, what inspires you.
Yeah, what's the best movies, best TV. But, for me right now, I really liked Get Out. I know that's a cliche because it got really popular, but that got my mind thinking of like political horrors and, comedic political horrors, and I'm like, I want to get into that. That sounds like a lot of fun, because life is kind of filled with horrors right now, and we're living a good life here up in Toronto. But there's some, that's something that gives me energy. So I think that's where it leads to. What fuels and gives you energy to make the content right now.
Now I remember I put that movie on just as a background because it was on, it was online. I was watching it, and then usually I just leave it behind the scene. And 30 minutes into it, I'm like, what is going on in this movie right now? And forget to work. I was just watching the movie for the rest of the night. It's a very trippy movie, man.
Right.
You know,
I loved it.
Something like that is possible, and they make a ton of money on it, right? Like,
and they spent nearly nothing on it.
And that's the kind of stuff where, like, you know, when you're watching it, when people are watching these, yes, inspiration is one thing, but from trying to get into the business, what other things should they be paying attention to as they're watching these movies?
Okay, that leads me to the next.
Tip 2.
Tip 2. And you segued it perfectly. This is a general statement, but I'm gonna make it sound more sweeping, okay? Go and read lots of scripts, not books, right?
Okay.
Not online stuff, scripts, TV scripts. Now, scripts can also be this.
Scripts, eh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because scripts give you direction. They give you a different thought process. Maybe not a film script, but like think of it as a TV script. How did this come about?
Right.
What did we? Okay. Yeah. If it's a TV show, right? That's a sitcom. Read how that sitcom was put together. Right? Because then you'll understand what a runner is. Then you'll understand what. And I don't want you to follow the same format that TV's been running the whole time.
Yeah.
But if you read more scripts, you'll get an idea of format, and then you'll find out more of what you like.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you'll be able to make that more, the definition of who you are.
Right.
You know.
And where do you get access to these things? Like, is it online? Is it available?
Yes, and yes. You can get them from all online. Okay. You can get them libraries. The old good old libraries still exist, and there are databases now that have. There are so many people out there that have a script. I have a lot of scripts on my desk. I read
How many
lots of
scripts do you get on average?
Right now, I have 5 on my desk. Okay, so that's in the last 60 days. And 5 features, and I've got about 10 shorts that I'm trying to leaf through. And it's great because it's, you know, I'm giving feedback to people. I'm learning things from people. And I encourage that just to keep reading scripts because then which leads to my next point, when you start knowing what you like out there, when you start reading your scripts, I think what it leads to is, and this is my tip, is start finding out what your voice is. Okay? It's a cliched term, but it's something that is so hard that I find artists finding what their voice is, right? I struggled with it myself. You know, I'm
walk me through how you found your voice.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm entirely there.
Okay.
I still think I'm, you know, we go back to the Get Out example. I think that's something more of what my voice is because I'm kind of this quirky, fun, political, serious but funny type of person.
Right.
So how do I articulate that voice? How do I get that out into the world so that when you see my material, that's Dinesh's material.
Maybe the other way to look at it is in figuring out maybe not so much what your voice is, have you figured out what you're not? Like, what is it definitely not you?
And that is the process. Process of elimination.
Like, what's not you? Like, if Get Out is you.
Yeah. I'm not going to say Get Out is me. Don't.
Okay.
But yes.
We're not branding you yet.
Yes. Yeah. What isn't me is that's a great question. I know that I don't want to do certain types of comedies. I don't want to do things that are mean-spirited to people.
Okay.
I know that I don't want things that are. I want all my material to have a positive message.
Right.
My end goal is to always, entertain with a smile at the end of it. I don't think I'll have a lot of unhappy endings to whatever I put out there.
Only happy endings.
Only happy endings.
I got you.
That's all I'm about. All about. And then
we're about to go viral with this video.
Yeah, viruses are good.
New sponsors.
I like virals.
New sponsors.
Yeah. So yeah, but knowing what you're not, chips away at who you're going to be.
I want to go back to tip 2 for a second, reading scripts.
Yeah.
If, again, we're talking to people that want to get into the business, they haven't really figured out, A, where to get a script. And then when they're reading it, if I'm looking to get into, script writing, or if I'm an actor, or if I'm trying to get into filmmaking, what are you looking for when you read these scripts? Are you looking for a certain flow? Like, what's the check marks you're trying to develop in your head? Because obviously you reading it will probably be much different than if I was reading it. But if somebody wants to get into the business, how do they need to start thinking?
Okay.
Or what do they need to look for?
So,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's the approach. I've been doing it for a long time, but I think that the approach I've had is since I've read my first script, I think I follow the same approach, and that is it's simple. Does it excite me? Am I excited to turn the next page? Oh, wow, this is about to happen? And then not knowing I love not knowing what's going to happen in the third act. There's a game that my buddy taught me once, and I do it after he taught me this, is he would, at the second act of a film, he'd pause the film, and he'd be like, okay, I'm going to guess what the third act is. And I do it often. I'm like, okay, this is what I think, this is how it's going to end, right? I do that with scripts, I do it with film, and I recommend everyone kind of do that game, because then you can anticipate storytelling, what we were talking about before this episode was, the art of storytelling is, I think you got to keep your audience sort of not knowing what they're doing, not, keep them guessing, right? So I think that's my answer for me. I think you need to find that answer for you.
Okay.
What excites you, right? Me knowing you as a person, I would say things like, you want things that are a little bit new and something that's not thought of yet or hasn't been done before, or a spin on something that has been done before, but you feel hasn't been done right. That's sort of when I look at your voice, that's where I kind of look at a Sats.B voice, right?
Yeah, I got you.
And then that's what everyone has that. Yeah. It takes a while to discover it. The greatest thing you can do is the fastest way to find your voice, to find out who you are. If you are 19 or 20, like the savants in film are the ones that figure out at 21, 22, right? Right? And that when you play their film, I know this style. I kind of know where the direction of this TV show or this movie is going to go. Yeah. Because you know that feel of that person. Yeah. It takes on your identity, you know? When I do my film festival or my TV show, I always felt that it took on my identity, right? And as this will, absolutely, for you, right? So that's discovering your voice. You're going to do tons of these episodes.
Well, yeah, it's really interesting. Even prepping for today, I was like, I know you for so long,
right?
I'm like, but there's so much of what you do I don't know, right? Like I experienced the final outcome, which is a room full of people watching these curated films that you bring every year to inspire not just the everyday person, but the community that follows you.
That's right.
But the process of now saying, okay, like tip 1, what do you watch as you get, sort of inspired by every year's new theme? What are you reading? And then, it's nice to hear that even after all these years, you still haven't found that voice, but you're constantly looking for it.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
Which goes to show, like, in any craft, whether it's in film, whether you're making an app, whether you're launching a singing career, it's never about finding it. It's about the journey of always looking for it.
Discovering.
I think. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it is a discovery, and it is a way to sort of, it's chipping away. It's chipping away what you don't like and knowing more what you do like.
And those little moments where you see a bit of that moment and you go, oh, okay, this is really me. Like what you said, I've been doing music for 20 plus years, but desiFEST and the outdoor was like an aha moment. All the club nights and the promotions, they were good, but they weren't really my voice.
That's right.
And then I found this thing and I was like, okay, this is me. This is I'm still doing music. I'm still doing promotions and shows, but I found sort of what that comfortable voice is, right? So that's good. So we've got watch, we've got read, then we've got pay attention to your voice,
right,
and what resonates with you.
That's right.
What's number 4?
just like what you did right here, right now, create your crew.
Okay, crew.
You need a crew. You cannot do any of this stuff on your own, especially the game of content.
Yeah.
Filmmaking, TV making, content creating, web, you can't do anything with a crew. So you got to start with the key pieces, sound, video, editing, and then just go out from there. You need assistants to help you book people. You need people. You need people to help you with makeup. You need to book Uber drivers. You need to you need to make things happen, right? Yeah. And the only way you can make things happen is if you create a crew.
Yeah.
So read scripts, watch stuff, come up with the ideas and more who you are, then create a crew that's going to help you execute that.
So when you have nothing, like you don't have gear, you know where I'm going with this, you got no money, and these are everyday excuses people put, and they are excuses, because there's nothing you can't do if you put your mind to it.
That's right.
What organizations or what support network can people plug into?
There are so many out there. So there's two levels that I kind of talk. There's the independent route, which I have taken in my 18 years, and then there is the unionized professional route. Okay.
Is that the actors?
The actors, the DGCs, with the Directors Guild of Canada. There's several unions that you can get a part of. Both equally have their benefits.
Right.
And both equally have their limitations.
Right.
Okay. I chose the independent route in my life because I wanted more control. That's just me.
Right. Okay.
I wanted control over all my situations. As we're doing here, you want to control your situations.
Absolutely.
Right? So that's why we've taken an independent route. It's not the right or wrong way to go. Everyone's got to find. That's a part of finding your voice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, you got.
That's a part of that discovery.
And you can always cross over. It's not like you got to stick.
You can. But again, there's also limitations. As soon as you cross over, there are certain things that happen in the professional field that won't allow you to cross back. So
okay.
So that's the politics. You've got to go out there and learn yourself.
Right.
Unfortunately, I always say take the independent route.
Yeah.
Go online.
Yeah.
Go on something like Mandy.com, and they'll take you to 20 different casting sites, right? There's casting for acting, whatever you want to do. There's casting for post-production, pre-production, voiceover, whatever you'd like to do in the entertainment business, film, television, whatever it is. There's an independent route, and you can get that all online. And then there's meetup groups.
Right, Meetup's a great source.
Right, so you just go up to meetup groups and then you start networking.
Yeah.
The key to this hustle in the independent game is to network.
Yeah.
That's the only way you're going to create your crew.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think once you have somewhat of a voice and you have somewhat of an idea of the type of movies or television or content you want to create, and then you have some scripts that you have in your mind that you want to create, and then you go out there to try to go, you'll be amazed how people will be drawn to you, how people will come to you, and the world will open up.
Yeah.
So that is, my next thing: make a crew.
Yeah, and part of the assumption that everybody has is you need all this money, you need all this bankroll. But some of my greatest success, and probably yours too, is coming up with that concept that is so sticky and so amazing that people just want to be part of it. The money will come later. Money always comes later. Yeah. But if you can find a project that you're truly passionate about, whether you're working on a script, you want to shoot something, make content, like, look what we did here. We had this idea for this master class, reached out to a bunch of friends, and we have our first show, right?
Absolutely.
So it's these excuses of I can't do it because of lack of money, lack of contacts. Get your ass out of your house. Start going to these friggin' meetups. Yeah. Start with one person. Yeah. And then second and third and fourth. And it might take you 5-6 months to put a crew together, but you can't sit and just hope. You
can't. You got to go out there. You got to go out there and hustle.
Yeah, and that's one of the problems with social media now, where I feel like so many of these young people that want to do stuff, they're stuck behind these browsers and they're constantly just trying to network online. And I'm like, that's cool, but get out of the house. Go to a meetup.com and event. Go look for a film showcase and attend. Come early, mingle in the lobby.
Yeah. Festivals too. Festivals is another one.
Right.
Where you meet lots of people, right? Outside of a meetup.com.
Exactly,
right?
man.
That's why I throw my festival. So that's what I did with my festival, right? I created a place because there was that problem that people didn't know how to make their crew. I put a bunch of crews in one room and let them all meet each other, right? Because I know sometimes the editor is the guy that's behind the computer, but I try to get him off of the computer so he can go and meet some people.
Exactly.
Right? So I've done it. I've helped crews come to life.
Yeah.
So that's tip number 4.
We got one more to go, man.
Make a crew. How am I doing so far?
It's beautiful. It's gems. It's gems, man.
It's stuff that I wish somebody told me. I've heard a million of these types of tips before, and maybe none of it's new, but some of it's sort of new in this sequence. The last thing that's simple, and I was told as a young child, the Nike swish sign is just go out there. What you're doing right now, just don't wait.
That's good.
Don't wait. Just go out and do it.
Yeah, this segment is not sponsored by Nike.
No, I'm sorry. But
we do like it.
But that's it. You take the 4 things. Go watch some movies. Read some scripts. Figure out who you think you are. Okay? Then when you have those 3 things out, go make your crew because you're going to tell them who you are.
Yeah.
And then after that, just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah. Get the simplest camera. Put on go to Home Depot and get some lights and just do it.
Yeah.
And put it on Facebook. And you don't know what's going to happen, right? Maybe it's not so good at first, but you keep at it.
Yeah.
You keep doing it.
Consistency.
Right? Consistency is the key.
Yeah.
That should be number 6, but I know we're not going to 6s in the 6.
No, it's 5 tips masterclass.
Yeah.
We can't give away 6. But all 5 are very good, super important. And the thing that, and you hit it on the nail on the head earlier. This whole segment is about getting real entrepreneurs, real hustlers to share real tips. Because sometimes you read these vlogs or blogs and you see these people that are just big personalities talk about these steps, and you go, I get it, but you're so far ahead of me. How do I actually believe that it's possible? So when we get people like us that are doing stuff, putting on shows, hustling, creating content, and we say, hey, this is the same stuff that I'm sharing with you that I do every day, I hope it's going to be a lot more, resonating, and it has a lot more value from a day-to-day perspective, right? Which is what this is about. But outside of the 5 that I know you live and breathe, let's talk about Film Me. It's coming up.
December 1st and 2nd.
Okay.
Harborfront Center.
Harborfront. So new venue. Have you been there before?
Great story. Mohit and I started that years 1 to 6 at Harborfront Center.
Okay.
So we started at Harborfront Center.
Yeah.
Then last year we brought it back to Harborfront Center. And we brought it back again this year. We wanted to sort of, the holidays come at December 1st.
Yeah.
It's the end of the year. It allows me to get content that's been great all year, accumulate it. So I'm taking content from around the world, and then it allows people to do their festival circuit, and they come to December, and you're going to watch some great stuff. We fill the houses, and December 1st and 2nd, Harborfront Center, year 18.
Wow. Now, you and Mohit co-founded it.
That's right.
You're the executive director.
That's right.
I know the story, but we've got a new audience now. Take me back 18 years ago. Give me a quick, why did you even start this? Because it's taken up 18 years of your life.
It has taken 18 years of my life. There was a void. It was that simple, There were festivals that were happening around Toronto.
Yeah.
And, Mohit and I sat around with the beer and said, there's a void. And I don't know what the future holds, but we think there's going to be more movies that speak to the diaspora, and at that time there wasn't. We picked the movie. East is East.
Okay.
Which was Om Puri's cult hit. I brought the reels from Britain, carried them myself.
Reels.
Yeah. Put them at the Harborfront Center, 1999, and charged $25 all you can eat and all you can watch movies, 3 movies for $25 and some Indian food. Filled the place up, and we said, okay, let's keep going. And then as the years went on, more and more films. And now we're, above, in terms of submissions, we're above 300 from around the world, and we could barely scrape 3 or 4 films in 1999.
Wow.
So
Now
18
you
years
hit-
later. Well, it pushes the content better, you know. People have followed these steps,
Yep.
right? And they're just doing it, and we get from the diaspora. We get it from all over the world now, and we've had guests come from all over the world. So our name is Filmy has proliferated, you know, all the way to Australia to.
Hey, that says a lot about the hustle, you know.
Yeah.
I do have 2 questions.
Okay.
So you don't get a lot of time to think about it. You just got to tell me how you think,
All right, all
how
right.
you feel. Okay.
All right.
First question.
My feelings.
Okay. In the 18 years of filming, one moment that stands out for you that makes you smile every time you think about the project.
I'm gonna go to East is East. First film we ever
Eating
showed on Reels.
samosas and watching film.
We did it. Like, it was like no one guided us. No one told us what to do. We just went out and called the distributor and picked up the films, and we'll put reels
What a
up.
great
and
story.
Right?
Yeah.
I
Just
think
do
that just doing it. It's like everything that we've just said this entire show. I'll go back to that. And it was Ompuri, and we didn't know how that movie was going to fare. And then 10, 15 years later, it's a cult hit.
Wow. Okay, number 2.
Okay.
One thing that you have learned about yourself through this project.
It's hard for me to say no.
Okay.
Yeah. Like,
Well,
when
here you are. You didn't say no to me, so I'm happy.
Exactly, exactly. Because I really, you know, started the organization with Mohit. You know, both of us came up with the idea. We really wanted to help. That was the initial idea, was to help.
Yeah.
And then we knew that all the other stuff that we wanted out of our personal goals would come out all on its own. The movies and whatever comes with it, you know, the financial gains, the popularity, whatever comes, it would come later. But we really wanted to help filmmakers and create a community together. So when people come up to me and, you know, they hand me a DVD and say, "Can you please play my movie?" which has happened over and over again, and so many famous filmmakers today have come to me with their first film and said, "Please show it." It's like, I don't say no, it's hard. And when I say no, I've learned how to say no. It's one of the things. It was a learned behavior. It was tough. It was tough because I wanted to help so many people, you know?
Well, year 18, my man.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
Tell them one more time what the date is. Any
December
website
1st,
plugs?
2nd, Harborfront Center. Tickets will be online in about a month or so. www.filmy.org. That's FILMI.org. Dates are confirmed.
And do you need any
Filmy
volunteers,
18.
any people to help
I
you
need everything
out?
all the time.
So we'll put a link in the bottom so
Yeah.
you guys can get involved. And it is a community project, so you
Yeah.
have to get involved and help.
Yeah.
Even if you're not in the film business and you have a skill set that somebody can utilize in the bigger picture of what we're trying to create, get in touch with my man Dinesh, Sachdev.
Man, it's where a lot of people have started off, and it'll always be sort of that platform. So thanks for having me, man.
The first 5-tip masterclass is in the bags.
Awesome.
And I hope to have you back. We got to get Mohit on soon. And
I'll drag him out.
Have him Chad, and both of you Chad. But thank you, man, for being on the first show. Really appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
We'll put this up
Hope
live.
I did you proud. Hope I did you proud.
Oh, you're awesome. I learned how to be in camera with this guy. And short segue into booking Mohit. Mohit and the entire crew made me famous with desiFEST. My first ever interview was with Mohit. So, you know, everything that we became is sort of a collective approach. And so we're out. First episode is done. We got more people lined up to bring you guys some incredible masterclass. Yes, it's only 5 tips, but these could be life-changing tips if you pay attention to it. All right, my man. Peace out.
Thank you.